Hi, welcome to my ecology class. I'm Susan Glenn, and you can find me at Rowan College at Gloucester County. My email is sglenn, S-G-L-E-N-N, at rcsj.edu. And I'm just going to go over how the course is structured, what to expect, how much work there is to do, and the basics of what's in the syllabus for the course as well. So with any new class that you're taking, always start with the syllabus. The syllabus is available for you to download. You want to print it off. What you're going to find in the syllabus is a lot of very useful information about how the course is structured and what the rules are. So if you're in e-learning, you'll see a link directly to the syllabus on the left side menu so that you can immediately go to that and print it off. The complete schedule is found in the syllabus. It'll have the due dates for everything listed there, what you're doing every single week. So we organize it on a week-by-week basis. The syllabus also includes your points that are associated with every assignment that we do. And we have the grading scale is going to be a point-based scale. So depending on how many points you earn over the course, that's going to determine whether you get an A or B or whatever your grade is. You're going to need at least 650 points in order to get a D. But there are a couple of other ways of failing the class other than not getting the 650 points. You may have got enough points, but if you don't submit your lab reports, you will fail the class. And if you were caught cheating or plagiarizing, you end up failing the class. So print off the syllabus. That way you've got it in front of you. Put it in a binder. Keep it safe for the semester. You can refer to it. You'll also find in it there's an FAQ section of questions that people typically ask during this course, and make sure you read over the entire syllabus. Make sure you read over the FAQs, and that way you understand how the course operates, and you are expected to sort of know how everything is operating and running. I'm going to talk about some more of the details then that go into the course structure. Every week I'm going to send you instructions on what we're going to be doing, so that will be sent in an email. Also, when you sign in to e-learning, you will see that there is an announcement with the weekly instructions, and on the home page of e-learning there is the announcement section, and right below that is the weekly instructions. And those weekly instructions will each have a folder for each week that will tell you what you're doing, what's due that week, and links to everything. So you really can just start in e-learning and you can get everywhere you need to go from those weekly instructions. You don't have to search around to find things. So remember to go into the weekly instructions every week. The ebook is required in this course, so make sure you get access to your ebook. A lot of students like to also have a paper copy of the textbook in front of them, especially when they're working on exams, or sometimes their eyes get tired reading on a computer screen. When you purchase your ebook, you have the option of also they will send you a paper copy of the book, or you can find one, probably an early edition for cheap, available as well. You're going to have your lab kit, and if you have questions about the lab kit, please contact me and ask me your questions. The lab kit is available for sale from the bookstore, but if you are living with somebody who also has a lab kit and you're wanting to share it, contact me because you can just purchase the lab manual separately. You will need your own lab manual if you're sharing the kit. You're going to need your cell phone for some of the labs because you're going to be using some of the apps for identifying things, or for entering your data, or actually taking pictures of what you're doing and submitting those on your lab reports. So you're going to need a cell phone. And then you need an internet connection, obviously, if you're doing an online class, for accessing the videos. And you're going to want to download the Microsoft Office package that's available from the college, which includes Excel. We'll be using Excel in every lab, and you're not going to find that the functions that we need to use in Excel are going to be available on any other spreadsheet program. So you have to use Excel. So make sure you download the free copy of Microsoft Office 365. I know some students working on Macs have problems because the Mac version of Excel is different from the Windows version of Excel. So make sure you have a version of Excel that is going to be comparable with what we're using in class. So the things we need, the textbook, the instructions and link for getting the textbook are on the syllabus. You can buy it through the bookstore, or you can buy it directly from the publisher, which is a cheaper way of doing it. It includes the ebook, it includes the review questions, there's guided reading assignments. I've thrown in a couple of little extra credit assignments. They're just for understanding some of the concepts and some of the graphs. So a lot of graphs and statistics in ecology. We deal with a lot of data, and getting some practice at working with that is useful. You can find a link in e-learning to your online textbook on the left column, the left menu, and when you click on that, there's a place where you compare it. So you can, if you haven't purchased your ebook already, you purchase through that link, or you can have already pre-purchased it, and then that's where you're going to pair it with your e-learning section, and that way everything can be accessed through e-learning, and the grades for doing the readings on the ebook then get transferred automatically into e-learning. If you have trouble with that, drop me an email. Ask Glenn at rcsj.edu, and I can help you pair your book. When you are looking through the ebook, then you're going to see that the different chapters are each having due dates for different weeks. When you read through the chapter, what it's going to do is give you some practice questions so you can learn the material in the chapter. When you've been able to successfully answer those practice questions, gives you a few points that get thrown into your point scores. So each week we have a different chapter that we're working on, and we have also at the end of the textbook there's an appendix that has these little boxes on how to analyze data in ecology. They're called Investigating the Evidence. And so each week we'll be looking at a different one of those as well. In addition to reading your book, I have video lectures on every chapter that we are doing, so you get to watch the video lectures. It might be nice to read the book first, and then you can have it open. Have the material in your head so that when you're watching the video lectures, it's going to make more sense. Also, for those video lectures, the PowerPoint notes are available on e-learning. I have made a PDF for each one so that you can print that off, have those PowerPoint notes in front of you, and then as you're watching the video lecture, you can add on the notes just like you would in a lecture in class. You're also purchasing a lab kit that is only available from the bookstore. It includes the equipment and field instructions that you need for all our labs. So this is a requirement. You can't do your labs without your lab kit. What we're going to be doing is pooling the class data for analysis. So you'll collect it individually, and then we're going to put them together in data sets. And then the data analysis information will be put in e-learning, and that will all be linked in your weekly instructions folder. You're also going to maintain a blog, and we'll be talking about these blogs where you're going to post your photos from your data collection, you're going to post your data sheets, and you're going to post your data analysis. So each week you'll be updating your lab blog. So the lab kit, you'll see in the instructions that we will have different labs are doing different weeks. Most of these labs are divided into 2 weeks. So the first week you will go outside, you'll collect the data, update your blog with the pictures, and submit your data. And then the next week we will work on analyzing that data. So other things you might need as you're going along, you're going to need your phone. We use some apps on the phone. Having the weather app is useful. Having your phone there for emergencies and is useful. And being able to take photos that you can use in your blog is going to be necessary. So you need a phone or a camera. You're going to find some locations to do these labs, and I'll help you if you have difficulty finding locations. You're going to need a forested area. You're going to need a lawn area. You're going to need to find a cemetery for one of the labs. things for your own personal protection: hat, sunblock, sunglasses, insect repellent. Obviously, you're going to need something to write with. And then at some point, you need your computer and your internet for doing your coursework. Let's talk about communication. The simplest single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. George Bernard Shaw. That is probably the biggest problem people have in science class, is communicating science. And there's a number of different ways we're going to be working on communication. You're going to be doing blogs, you're going to do lab reports, we're going to use Zoom meetings, and we're going to do tests. And this way, not only are you going to be able to communicate to me what you know, I'm also going to try to be communicating to you very clear directions, instructions, and information so that you can learn. I'm asking you to set up 2 blogs this semester, and this is a way for you to communicate with me, but we're also going to make these public blogs that you'll be able to communicate with other people. The first blog is going to be the lab blog, and this is where you're going to share your photos of your labs, your field book data sheets, and to present your results from your data analysis. We are going to pool all our data, so everyone in the class can use the results for analysis and lab reports. And sometimes you'll want to look at other people's blogs, the lab blogs, in order to look at the context of their data and where it was collected. You will put a public link on the discussion boards so that everybody can see where the data comes from and where your blog is located. And you will be updating your blog every week. So either you're going to be collecting data or analyzing it, or both, and putting that up on your blog. The other blog you're going to make up is a blog on a scientific paper that you will be reviewing. So you're going to learn how to read a scientific paper, and you're going to update this. We're breaking this up every week so that you're able to not do it all at once and spread it out. And this was people's favorite blog last year. They loved reading each other's blogs and seeing the papers that they read and reading the papers. So in the midterm, you're going to submit your blog for a review. And you're going to do peer reviews. So you're going to be asked to review other students' blogs at this point. And that way, everyone gets feedback on what people like about their blog, what's not working, maybe a link is dead, and they can fix up their blog before they submit it for the final review. And once again, in the final review, you're going to review each other's blogs, and I'll be reviewing your blogs for points. And but you will get points for actually giving constructive feedback, useful feedback to other students on their blogs. So once again, you will be asked to share a link to your public blog that other people can look at. You also need to download the paper that you're going to be reviewing, download a PDF of that, and put it on OneDrive and share a public link of that so that students can look at the actual paper that you're reviewing. Now, some people know how to do blogs. They've done blogs. You're welcome to use any platform you want. Most people have not. So we're going to learn how to use Google Sites to make a very quick and easy blog. And it's nice and fast and easy to learn. But you're welcome to use any site that you're more comfortable with. The students really enjoyed doing the blogs. The blogs were bright, colorful, and a much better way of looking at things than dry papers and your normal ways of submitting labs. The blogs that I have set up some templates to help out on Google Sites. I'll share those templates with you, and that way you get a better idea how to structure the blog, what needs to be put in the blog. But as I say, you have the freedom, you have the flexibility to set yours up how you want to, as long as it has everything we need. So from reading scientific papers about studies that ecologists have done, they have a certain format. And you're familiar with this format in scientific papers where you have an introduction, you have basically the methodology that you used for collecting the data and for analyzing the data. You present the results, usually include tables and or graphs, figures. You will have a discussion where you refer back to the hypothesis that you introduced in the introduction and see how the data supported or rejected that hypothesis. And you have the references that you refer to to in your references cited section. And because that's how scientific papers are set up, that is also how your lab reports are going to be set up. You're going to pick which of the labs you want to write the lab reports on. So you'll be submitting a small assignment on every lab every week, but then the full lab report, you get to pick out what one you're the most comfortable with. You're going to generate your own hypothesis, and you're going to test that hypothesis using the class data. And you're not going to pick some sort of obvious hypothesis like, can I count the trees in the forest? Of course you can count the trees in the forest. You're going to be seeing, I have a hypothesis that this species may be more dominant in these forests that these students studied versus these students' data sets over here because the soils are different in the pine barrens. So you're going to follow the format. I give you the format for setting up these lab reports in detail, give you a checklist so you can make sure you've done everything right. And then when you have submitted your lab reports, they have to be submitted on time, and I will give you detailed feedback on what was done right, what needs improvement. And you get a chance to fix them up. So you can rewrite your lab reports and you can resubmit them. And when you resubmit them, then you could actually improve your grade. Also, when you resubmit them, I'm asking you if you will also include in the comments the list of things you did to improve or change your lab report from the previous time. And you'll get some bonus points for alerting me to the changes that you made. And that way I won't overlook something that you went and fixed. If you complete both your lab reports and you complete the rewrites of both those lab reports, then you can also choose to do a third lab report and submit that as additional bonus points. Each lab report has to be done on a separate lab, so you cannot repeat a lab report or a particular lab or a particular hypothesis for a later lab report. Another way we're going to communicate, we're going to have Zoom meetings. These are optional. You don't have to come to a Zoom meeting. There will be open Zoom meetings that are recorded and posted, that are scheduled, and there's a link for them for you to join them. We're also going to have one-on-one office hours available. With a Zoom office hour, I will be available at that time at that link, but only one person comes in at a time. These will not be recorded and posted. These are just for your own individual chances to talk to me. So if you come into one of the one-on-one office hour meetings and you're put into a waiting room, it means I'm already talking to somebody, and when they're done, I'll let you in the order that people come into the waiting room. So the open meetings are for everybody to come at once, and that's where I can show you how to do things. The one-on-one office hours are just for individual questions and problems. If you have times that you want to meet with me one-on-one and you don't fall in on those one-on-one office hours, email me. We can set up another time that we can get together. If you have questions that you just want to ask on email, go ahead and do that. There's also a discussion board where you can post questions that are related to the lecture material, related to the chapters. And what I will do with that discussion board is I'll take a look at that before I go into the open meetings, and I can answer some of those questions with whoever shows up at the meetings. So if you don't make the open Zoom meetings, make sure you look at the recordings from the open Zoom meetings, because you probably get some useful information there. The Zoom meetings will not be held on days that we have exams. So I'm not having Zoom meetings or office hours on those particular days. So any other day but exam days. We're also not going to hold Zoom meetings on the days that college is closed over Thanksgiving. When you go into e-learning and you click on Zoom meetings, this is the screen that will pop up. It'll show you there's recurring open meetings and recurring one-on-one office hour meetings. It'll also show you the recordings. So those are the cloud recordings for the previous meetings that you might have missed. So what's a typical week like in this course? Well, a typical week, other than the first week of class, the weeks are going to end on Friday for every week, and then your next week is going to start on a Saturday. So we're going to go from Saturdays to Fridays, Saturdays to Fridays. So I thought I'd sort of make a list of things that you would Some weeks are not typical, they're atypical, and they will have certain things that are due that week. And it's important for you to keep track of that. I will not be reminding you of everything that's coming up that is due. So I would suggest taking out your phone, pausing this, put these important dates on your calendar so that you know when things are going to be due. You've printed out a copy of your syllabus, put the dates from the syllabus into your calendar. Make sure you understand, and that way you don't miss exam days. The exams, the chapter exams, or exam 1, exam 2, and exam 3 are based on your readings and the videos that we did associated with the textbook chapters. Those exams are going to be available all day. You can go into it and start in the morning, go back out of it, come back to it later in the day, as long as you get it submitted by 8 p.m. There's no makeup exams. There's no extensions given. If you miss the exam, if you don't do it, you don't get the points for the exams. So make sure that you take the time off work for these days, for these exams, and you've scheduled some time in that day to work on them. We've also got on the schedule of due dates when your lab reports are due. If you do not hand in either lab report number 1 or lab report number 2, then you cannot pass the course. So you have to hand in at least 2 of these full lab reports. The scientific paper blogs, you're doing a midterm evaluation of that where you get to review each other's blogs. If you don't turn that in by the due date, submit that as just submitting a link to your blog and to your paper. If you don't turn that in, then you can't review other people's, and there's no extensions on that either. So all of these are firm dates, so make sure you meet these dates. The same thing when you review other people's blogs, there's a date you have to have the reviews done, and then those reviews are released to the person who did the blogs, and they can see what other people had to say about it. So pay attention, particularly towards the end of the course, because we have a scientific paper exam, we have a lab exam, and we have the 3rd chapter exam all in a row. And so make sure you've set aside that time at the end of the term to do that. And you've got that all with, you might want to set little reminders like a day before each thing in your calendar so that you do not fall behind and you know what's going on and don't miss a deadline. We haven't had a chance to cover everything in the syllabus, so make sure you print it out, read it over. There's a lot of really useful information in there, and also clarifies some things. It includes your schedule, it includes the easy to read FAQs, it's got affirmative action material, it's got a material on where to go for help in the college. So make sure you've got a copy of that with you. Also make sure you get your lab kit, get your lab book. Those are your 2 biggest priorities to start with in starting the course. If you have any questions, my name's Susan Glenn. You can email me at sglenn@rcsj.edu, and particularly if you're having any difficulties doing a lab, using Excel, using your lab book, things with your lab kit, or even how to actually do the lab, make sure you get your questions answered, and I'm happy to be there for you. Hopefully I'll see you in our Zoom meetings as well. So thank you for taking this course. I'm looking forward to working with you, seeing your blogs, and getting to teach you quite a bit of ecology. You're going to learn a lot, and I'm looking forward to working with you.